Today's video continues Sapo week, and for today we are going to be combining that yellow core with some red this time around. Again, same kind of control yellow core with the Serpent's Den and Sapo, and again, just giving me an excuse to keep playing Sapo because this lovely lizard looks beautiful in Prestige. But this time we're going to combine it with red, and again, most of these are just pretty standard control cards, things like firesong, prodigy, a couple of ignitions so that you can use those as spot removal. Same thing with Crimson Pact. Wings of Abaddon is really just removal that can double as a little bit of reach, extract life, removal. Magmataur, duskwing is just healing. Hecate's wheel is a bit underrated in my opinion. I think that as a 1 or a 2 of in a lot of red decks you can find a lot of value. Being able to suppress opposing enchantments is important. Giving an occupying minion warded is also really important. For example, sticking something like an angel on that it's just phenomenal. So that's what we're going to roll with. As always, the full deck list will be in the video description. As always, as well, we're going to take this game and go play 2 games, win or lose on the ladder. We always hope for more wins than losses, but I can't guarantee anything. If you don't know how to do the deck imports, I've been saying this at the beginning of every video. There is like a short tutorial on my YouTube channel that'll show you how to do that because it's a little bit weird. The deck import export feature uses like plain text format, which I like because that technically means it's visible by the human eye, but it's also sometimes a bit clunky because it's not just like a character string. But anyway, mostly I'm just talking to fill time while we wait for an opponent. We just want to find an opponent so we can showcase some Sapo love for our lizard overlords. If you believe in the lizard Illuminati that controls the world, then a Sapo deck is right for you. And now we're going to be facing off against a Merlin who already has an interesting setup. Anytime I see Journey of Souls combined with Mend, I think to myself, there's something interesting going on. Those are not two things that typically go together. So the other day I was filming, I think it was for Legends, and not this, but I was fighting a sneeze, and I was trying so hard not to sneeze into the mic, and I won that battle. This time, I did not win it, and I, again, just like that time, don't know what caused it. I am not fighting a cold or anything. Maybe just allergies? Like, it legitimately just felt like I snorted pepper or something. Well, this was a timely top deck of ignition, and we just continue to rain down spot removal upon our foe. And, alright, interesting decision to make here, and no longer interesting. Easy choice. We'll burn this, and we'll just stun this to prevent them from drawing even more. Yeah, that sneeze was out of nowhere. And the funny thing is, now I feel fine, gang. So maybe I did snort pepper, or just something was in the air. Alright. One way or another, we are going to nuke the ever-loving crap out of that card. Sidecar represents danger. Now, they will be getting a Frecky Scout back here from their journey, but we're fine with that. We could use Crimson Pact and not take a lot of damage. I think we're actually going to send this back because we still need 3 red gems. So that'll be there for a long time. And now the question is, do I use Poxbringer or the wings? And I think we just use the wings. I know it might feel like a bit of a waste because this is definitely overkill, but at least we also get the overrun. And as I said before, getting rid of Sidecar is typically pretty important because you do not want to deal with 5 drops that have rush, right? If they would have burned a card and slapped down like a Duskwing or something, we would not be enjoying ourselves. So we ourselves actually kind of want to get our own Duskwing up and running. And that might just be a path that we take. Yeah, I actually think that's the path that we want to take here. You know what? I take it back. Here's what we're going to do. We're still going to burn one of these rings because we want to get to 5. But what I'd prefer to do is actually just take this out. And then we're going to move this. Now, they have Swift, so they're going to run away. But since we're also going to heal, we can kind of chase this around a bit. But also, if it pushes them over here, then when we develop Duskwing over here, we won't have direct competition.
Lies.
So what we're the most worried about now is them playing a rusher here that is big enough to take out either of our friends here. Just because this resurrects non-demon minions that die here, and then they also have frenzy. So if it's something with rush, for example,
Is that all you've got?
it creates a even larger problem for us, but this is relatively okay. So that extract life is nice. Gives us a way to certainly deal with Kara. What are we giving him back? Just another Frecky here. So I think the downside is if we want to keep this alive, I don't think we can keep it alive. So I think we just take the trade. And it's going to come back, and that we know. Then we're going to burn this so that we go to 6. Now we're going to play this effigy. This will jump up to 5 health, but then we'll also have exactly 5... not effigy, excuse me. We want to play the maze here. So this is going to go up to 5 health, but we have exactly 5 mana, so not only do we still nuke this, but we actually get 1 extra health for doing it this way. But this stairway is going to be a problem if we cannot find our hekate. And again, the wheel, I kind of mentioned it earlier, right, is a bit underrated because being able to suppress things like this, obviously pretty helpful. Let's go ahead and draw our card. Harvester is a good pickup. Good pickup overall. Number of different ways that we could go here. I'm a big fan of the ring. Let's do that. And we're actually, I think, going to burn this to start the snakes. And the reason we want it here is because with this having Swift, if we would have put it here, they could still try to run away. But like right now they effectively can't really run from us. Now this will come back with Frenzy, but it does not have Rush, so unless they have a sidecar in hand again, fine there. Thunderclap. It's a great play for them. We're going to take some damage here, sadly, on our ring. Wow, they're actually running that as well. That is interesting. So they actually can nuke some of our more important things. And how do we want to tackle this? Could meso libre and then heal, but I really just think Harvester is the way to go. We know what their entire hand is. So Harvester here is a 7/7. Unless they top deck something amazing, creates at least a 3-for-1. counting either the bodies or the ignition. We're 2 turns away from being able to draw 2 cards again from our path. And now I'm feeling a sneeze coming on again. Okay, so they took it with the bodies. Alright, Panic Raider is very annoying on the stairway for a number of reasons. I'm gonna move this over. Gonna play this ring. And then we're actually gonna stun this because we just don't want them to draw the cards. It's gonna have to be good enough. The biggest issue is that they get another raider back from their journey. But next turn will be our draw 2 cards turn. And we're hoping to find some of our AoE, right? Misanthropia wouldn't be half bad. Magmataur would be pretty good for us. You know, something in those veins. Because we have a lot of bodies. Like a Magmataur would be great. Instead, we get the option for more snakes, which also isn't terrible. Let's go ahead and put this over here. Alright, that wheel is a very nice pickup. Just gonna do that now so that I don't have to deal with this stairwell anymore. That means we can trade here just fine. This den can come down here. Hopefully protect. Because again, we're mostly just trying to protect the damage here on our ring. Save the maze for now. So they can still draw with the raider. It's moderately annoying. Now, having this Hecate's wheel next to our serpent den is nice because we can basically keep this permalocked as long as snakes keep moving over. But yeah, this Panic Raider does get a shot at drawing another card, and when their journey triggers, they're going to be getting back a sidecar, which is very relevant. Oh, the throne. It's very good for them as well. Just because that means they can continue eating our snakes. Oh, they forgot about the warded. Which works out very well for us. We're just going to go ahead and cycle this. There's the misanthropia. Which I'm not going to lie is relatively tempting. I really don't want them drawing a lot of cards here. But by that same token, I don't think there's much I can do to stop them. And again, they're going to get that sidecar back. So they can enable some pretty big plays for themselves. But I don't think playing our really powerful board clear for the one minion makes an awful lot of sense. And they burned the sidecar. Okay. They must really wanted to play something at 9. That is interesting. I mean, we were pretty low for a bit, so I guess the good news is we've pretty well stabilized. All right. That makes more sense on why they would do what they've done.
All right ahead.
So they're going to be able to take this out. for obvious reasons, makes me sad. But now our misanthropia makes an awful lot more sense. Like, the previous turn was not looking great. Now we can go ahead and do this. And again, the important thing is this had to come here so that we try to shut off this. Now again, they're just going to trade with this, but the downside is if we don't find another artifacts, we really want to find like jamming satellite more than anything, because we just want to protect this. All right.
Let's do this.
So they're actually going to break one of our rings here, and there's not much we can do about that. That makes me very sad. Sidecar, got it done. This is a really good Magmataur for us, though. And they still have 4 more souls. They're just getting non-stop units from this journey. We're losing an awful lot of firepower because of our rings getting destroyed. Yeah, that pops the other one as well.
Let's do this.
Alright, so they go with that there. Oh, now we find the satellite. How rude. How rude. So poxbringer can come down, which at least shuts this off. They're going to get back a Kara, which is pretty annoying. But again, not a lot I can do about that. Alright, we're gonna do it this way, I suppose. Hope that they're not sitting on, like, an ignition or something. Alright, that should just cycle that. We're fine. Burn to go to 7. What is this gonna be? Ingrid then? Or is this a 4 and a 3? It is, in fact, Ingrid. Wow. Well, that is game, ladies and gentlemen. There is no way I can survive that onslaught with our current hand. We are forever away from fall rolling around, allowing us to draw multiple cards. We have no AoE actually in hand. Even if I blow her up, then they get another one back. Yeah, that Ingrid basically just won them the game. Because of the multiple sidecars as well, so they'll be able to play Rush. That was disturbingly good for them. Alright, well, we have to do that. But that's got to be game. I can't imagine a scenario that we survive this here. Even if we just top deck AoE like forever, for the rest of the game. Like, we would need to find likely like Misanthropia, Magmataur, just like over and over again. And that's not counting all of the damage we're about to take.
See you in Valhalla.
Take a lot there. This, oh, could have done more damage if they traded the other way.
All right ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're still dead here no matter what I do.
Lie still.
I can't even burn this one because it was created. I'd like to burn that and then suppress this if I could, but I really can't. And ultimately, again, the sidecars are the biggest issue. I mean, we'll do this just so that I can gain 1 extra health here, but this is over. The Ingrid was just way too much firepower. Yep, easy trade, easy game. Down to 5. And then Kara and the other sidecar will finish us off. Or they could not. If there was ever a time to top deck Misanthropia to punish, that would have been it. But sadly, no punish. So a bit of a mistake from our opponent, but not the end of the world because the game was already over. Regardless. But that sidecar would have just won the game last turn, because it would have allowed this to attack right away. Alright. So, good game. We were in it, and if I'm being honest, I think we were kind of ahead until Ingrid. Ingrid was just too much. Way too much. So we will re-queue and see what we can do. Alright, just waiting for the other opponent. Let's hope for a better result this time around. Alright, somebody with Infuse and Turn of Seasons.
Reporting.
And they go with that good old-fashioned orange start. We have a bit of an awkward hand, actually. Ourselves. We're going to be giving up some health early on. Have to decide whether we want to go with the Serpent's Den or the Meso Libre next turn. But it'll be one of them for sure. And I think that tells me it's going to be the Meso. Mostly stunning this one as opposed to this one because we want to stop the effect for at least a turn. We have a lot of bombs in our hand, so as long as we don't fall too far behind, great ways to stabilize. Double Harvester, Misanthropia, Zolea. If we find a different red card to burn, Magmataur helps us get the job done as well, so... Poxbringer is pretty solid here. I actually think we're just going to end up burning this, because we just want that second red. We have enough other tools that that's fine. We'll just cycle this. So they will get another activation here as far as like cycling through. But again, relatively okay. We're coming up on our power plays over the next few turns. Alright, firesong. Bull. Wow, and they send back the ignition, huh? Going up to 3.
Hey there.
Well, it's a pretty solid top deck for us, all things considered. So I'm not actually sure that's the one that we want to play this turn. I feel like getting Zolea up and running, or Serpent Den and Firesong is also pretty relevant. I mean, it means giving up a Harvester here. But I think that's actually what I prefer. Because we can do something like this and this. Some pretty effective blocking while giving us the ignition for future turns here. And that lets us save the Magmataur. Two turns away, both of us from drawing multiple cards. Our opponent still has a lot of cards in hand. And we're going up to 6 now.
Atonement is at hand.
Alright. Slayer 2, and it gets another action after killing a minion in combat. So this feels like the appropriate time to just go ahead and slam dunk that Misanthropia, while also burning this so we go up to our 6 where we want to be. So they'll get to kill our snack and then deal 2 to us. 3 if they want to use the infuse, and they do. I think overall we're fine with that. They burn their own Magmataur. Which is fine, because I know they're about to draw 2 cards next turn anyway. We get an option for developing another Serpent's Den if we want. Zolea. I really want to play this Zolea. Like, I'm just itching. Could burn this Magmataur so that we go up to 7. Technically we cap at 6, but being able to just play multiple cards feels good. We have another Magmataur, so let's do that. Let's get her down. Now, she will get answered. Like, there's no question in my mind that this is going to get nuked. But forcing them to actually find the answer, I think, is pretty important. The other nice thing about going up above our cap, if you will, our top end. Oh, I guess we do have Sapo for 7, but being able to work in mend, keep our health topped off is pretty important as well. But right now we are just hoping that they don't have a good answer for Zolea. Because if she can run wild, then she can really help you win some games. Well, I don't think they understand that the negative is a thing. Okay. So this is a pretty good Magmataur turn. It doesn't nuke that one. But it nukes the other ones, and then Zolea can clean that up. Oh, interesting. Okay. I guess it does nuke that. We'll just keep giving her pluses to energy. I don't want to burn this harvester just to develop this den, so I think this is just a mend and a pass. I think keeping the harvester is fine. Right now our focus excuse me, is just on controlling the board, getting chip damage in as we can. Theoretically, if we can protect Zolea for a very long time, then you could get her brand off, but I think Magmataur plus Ignition is going to say goodnight to that idea. Wow, they really wanted to draw that card more than getting rid of her. Okay. I see you. I respect you. What are we looking to do this next turn? Ignition on the Magmataur makes sense because while they're in winter, you just want that extra value. So like this will attack. We'll get this value in here. She can go ahead and make sure that this doesn't draw them extra cards. And get this attack in. So now it's just a question of Harvester. I think Harvester makes sense. As much as I want to get this other Serpent stun going, I think I want to pair it with Meso Libre at some point to saturate better. So I think I'd rather just get a fat body on the board. I also want to put something next to Zolea because that protects her from rush because of the lurker. You know, against red again, like Magmataur, Ignition, like there's a million ways. Yeah, here comes the Ignition. So I don't expect her to stick around, but you go through the motions, right? You still make them have to have the answer. We're starting to hit the point where our... Oh! Oh, that hurts. That's a very good play for them. It's a very good play for them. That's one of our finishers, our bombs. They generate so much value. Oh, and they had a parry. This is a good turn for them. Alright, so we get a maze. We're just going to go ahead and cycle this and see what we end up with before we make any decisions. I think we just take the trades and... Well, so our choice is we can develop the maze for drawing cards. But we're going to draw 2 cards next turn anyway. Or I could burn it and make another serpent den to make them deal with that. I actually think that ends up being better, because that gives us the 2 gems. We can develop this here. We get the mend off as well. Alright. We're just over there drawing more cards. I respect that. They're doing a great job of just outdrawing me. And hitting my harvesters helps a lot in that endeavor. Okay.
Hey there.
This is scary. Like, no question about it, that is scary. And there's a couple of different ways that we could tackle this. They're about to draw 2 cards because they're hitting fall. This potentially enables another one if I don't answer it somehow. But I also need to deal with that ringmaster at some point. I think we're just gonna do this. Now, they could very well have a charger to deal with our angel. In fact, I expect it. And if they don't, then we're in a pretty good spot. Because Duskwing is nice. Okay, they're gonna do this to protect their ringmaster. They want to be able to trade into the snakes. It's gonna feel really bad to extract life that ringmaster, but it might be required. I'll have to wait and see what we draw. We're in a bit of a slugfest here, actually. We both have a lot of health left, and we're both doing a good job of fighting for the board. So, like, one good top deck, one good misplay, things like that. Kind of reminds me of last game, the one we just lost, right? The Ingrid, like, we were very much in this kind of back and forth jockeying for position, and then the Ingrid just completely changed the game. Now, this is a really big deal because that tells me exactly where our Hecate's wheel needs to go. It's agile now as well, huh? We didn't even draw anything to put in our wheel. Alright, well, at least she'll heal back up once it dies. And this can attack. I mean, putting this here is still the right call. I'd really love to put the center angel just so that it has warded. But we're going to do this. They've got more resources than us, so I'm a bit worried about that. But again, there's not really a lot I can do about it either at the moment. I need to find a body that I can jam here to try to shut off this stairway. I mean, the nice thing is every time that the snakes survive, I can always move one of those over at a minimum. So having it here with the double snakes is helpful, but Right now we're in a bit of a pickle. And with a very cheap ringmaster in hand, they have a lot of ways they can answer our angel this turn. Any 3 attack minion can plow right into her and trade. That's interesting. Unless they give her another action, we're fine in that regard. Or we're not. Oh, actually, no, we're still fine. So, like, this can move here, which shuts this off. Then the ignition hits it. Now I have to, again, decide, do I want to get rid of this or this? I think this makes the most sense. Sucks using a huge extract life like this, but I think it's correct. Because we don't want to deal with this ringmaster at all. I should have cast Mend first. That was a play mistake. I mean, it was going to kill it either way. I didn't need to spend all of that mana, so... Not casting the Mend was, in fact, a play mistake. This Oak also draws them a card. They're just going to be winning the resource battle. Like, we have a board, so... I mean, we have that going for us, but... They're just going to have far more options. Both of us are 2 turns away from drawing 2 cards from our turn of seasons. Oh! That's so good for them when they have that Oak. Alright, so before we take a ton of damage from the Oak, we have to trade into that first. And so I think the real trick here for us is actually going to be trying to protect our angel, which we can do pretty effectively here. Well, they have infused, so this one trades as well, so we're basically going to be stuck pacting this one. Which doesn't exactly feel great. Do that. That makes the most sense, I think. So again, like, they just have a lot more resources than we do. Alright. That tells me they've got another ignition or a Magmataur. That's a Magmataur. That's a blowout. Ugh. So what do we want to find? Misanthropia off the top. Because we have 1 left. A Magmataur would help us clear this up. Magmataur it is. So this comes down. Because it's there, it should not... Oh, come on. It's not supposed to let that go back because it's in the, well, the resolution on that feels terrible, but okay. Alright, at least we know how that interaction works now. I would have thought that that would not have given them back the firesong. So that's moderately annoying. Still have both of our rings, another den, 1 Misanthropia, 1 Sapo, both of our wings. But we are starting to fall behind. They are closing the gap here pretty hard. That interaction with this to heaven and back, like not knowing it kind of costs me a bit here. Trying to decide if I want to develop the angel this turn or not. I think the answer is no. Playing it anywhere over here means that they trade even because it's winter. Even if it wasn't winter, they have both the ignition and the infuse available, so I think we hold tight. Our maze might draw the ignition just to prevent us from drawing. Sapo would make me hapo. Okay. I respect that. It's also a really good top deck for us, so we can do this. We can put this down, but then we can also just eat one of these, for example. So, making them use that Armageddon Angel there, and then us still having decent value actually works out pretty well. In fact, we've now survived Sideshow, 7-Ring, Armageddon Angel, Kashiel, and both Magmataurs. Now there is still and the Oak of Dodana. So there is still a Wings of Abaddon in there somewhere. And a Sign of Pride. Like, they still have a lot of powerful effects. This is a very, like, endgame level orange-red mid-range list, by the way. Like, lots of rares, lots of mythics, lots of value, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of trying to navigate this, so I am rather proud of our performance, even if we end up losing this. They're also closer to fatigue than we are. The ignition was not really at all what we wanted to see here. But it does let us keep things alive in the interim.
Lie still.
We're trying. We're trying to threaten some damage here. Extract life gets them the health back. Let's go ahead and see what this gets us first. The ring is rather nice. I think we want to eat this and just push damage here. We're going to draw 2 cards off of their fall. But Hermend will heal the Minotaur. Keeping that Minotaur alive keeps that stairway that takes you to heaven and back suppressed, which I think is pretty important. Panic Raider. Man, they are drawing so many cards. I'm envious. 13 to their 9. They have 9 cards left. Alright, so at least we have a trade for that once we play the ring.
Reporting.
This has been a fairly brutal back and forth. Alright, so we find ourselves a poxbringer. So this trade's here. The poxbringer could just trade with this, but I could also just take that damage and let them draw the card. I just don't know if that ends up being the right call. But ring lets Minotaur trade, and then we can slide the snake over, so we at least still have something there. Do I want to let them draw the card? I mean, they're already down to 9. Just feels really bad to spend a poxbringer on that. I think we just let them have it. I mean, we still have a couple of panic buttons left. Oh, that is not good for us at all. What a power play. We still have Sapo. Makes me hapo. That was so huge, though. 5 cards left. They've just drawn so much because they had the stairway. Like, that was massive. I guess I should have used the bringer, huh? We have a misanthropia left. Still have another den. Still have our jamming satellite even, but... Gonna do this for now. We know they have a scion. Like, we're trying to navigate around what we would expect them to have left, right? They have the extract life, an ignition, another Efreet, and a scion of pride. Somewhere either in their hand or in their deck, right? So they've got 4 cards here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we know what 4 of them are for sure. And we can probably extrapolate further if we come and look at this list. Right? One of them's going to be a Wings of Abaddon. There's no way they're not running a pair. They're probably running 2 ghouls. Maybe 2 seals. Right? They might be saving the seal for our Sapo.
Fortune
Parry.
us.
I mean, at this point, like, I think we just play defense and play for fatigue. Though we can push like 9 damage right now if we also use the ignition. 10, 11 actually. Interesting. We can get them to 1. Is that what we want to do? That's the real question. Let's take the mend. I don't think we want to kill this on purpose. Just trying to decide if, again, this poxbringer is what we want. Well, we have 2 more Let's see what we have for like top decks. Like Wings of Abaddon would help us get there. We don't have a lot in the way of like push for lethal. I think we just end turn like this. I don't think we play the second bringer. If they play bodies to block, I think we want to push through that. My biggest concern is that with this over here, they might find a way to deal actually like 8 damage to us, and then our ring breaks, and then that drastically reduces our damage, which is why I think there's a temptation to just jam that over here as well, knowing that we've played around most of their big board wipes already. And we also know they have at least one more like Wings of Abaddon in there, so that's a source of damage. But we're also, they're down to 1 card, so we're also, while we want to go for lethal, we're not in a position where we need to. If we need to just play defense, then we might just win with fatigue damage, so it's not imperative. This has been a battle. I felt really bad about losing that last game because, you know, nobody likes to lose. Alright, I expect Wings to come down and nuke our ring here. But yeah, I mean, I felt bad, but this is a battle. This is a hell of a game that we got going on here, gang. The good news is, if Wings comes down, there it is, it only leaves them with 3, max of 4 if they want to burn a card to try to stop us. And we have the ignition here in hand. But yeah, blowing our ring there hurts. Alright, they just play a bunch of bodies. Sapo's a pretty big top deck for us. Again, health totals the way they are. We don't have to go for lethal necessarily. We can try to play to not lose. Now they do have this, and they're likely just going to use this on Sapo. Like, let's be clear. If you're not familiar, this will remove all of a minion's abilities, including ward and everything else. But at least we make them use it. They've got 4 cards in hand. 2 of them they have burned in the past. We haven't seen Extract Life or Eager Recruit. So they can delay fatigue for 1 more turn by burning a card, but then they actually hit their cap for gems. So that even though they have 2 cards unburned left, they can only still burn 1 before it won't let them burn anymore. So with our 17 health here, oh, interesting. I thought for sure maybe they just wanted to make another Pride of Place. I thought for sure that that was just going to transform Sapo, and then they would take the trade. Trade your 4/4 into the 4/4, and then he's fully gone. Because now if I... yeah, now they do it. I was going to say, now if I top deck like any removal, I can push through.
Reporting. Do we have a mission?
Alright. And then they go like that, which is fair. So jamming satellite can take away the frenzy here, which is pretty important. But we could also just poxbringer it. I think we want to go maze, poxbringer. think we want to go like this. Alright, so they take 1 fatigue damage there. Again, they only have the 2 cards in hand, and we know... that, I mean, unless they run only 1 ghoul, 1 is likely a ghoul. That's usually ran in pairs, though. They might only run 1 seal. I see that as a 1 of or a 2 of at times. So it's possible that's the other card. But, alright, yeah. I think that's what it was likely was left. I'm trying to GG here, but I had a Steam notification. That was a hell of a game. That was a hell of a game. I'm glad that I was recording when that one went, because that first of all, that's a great deck. So that is a very good, like, mid-range red-orange list. A lot of very powerful cards that generate value, good mythics, just good overall utility. I'm a big fan of that deck we just played against. But we also, I think, navigated that matchup pretty well in order to win. So, great game. Anyway, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you will subscribe and watch future videos.